So welcome, Ed.
Hello, mate. How are you doing,
Hello.
Alex?
I'm very well. I'm very well. We have. I'll be honest. We've sat and chatted for a good sort of half an hour about various bits and pieces, haven't we? So
Yes.
hopefully we've like there's a couple of tangents have been sort of bricked up already.
Yeah.
We can't head down that particular
Yeah.
aisle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We've diverted that danger. So
yes. Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yeah.
here's hoping. Um, So the plan is right. I've basically been confined to barracks. I had to self-isolate prior to operation, and I had an operation and some other bits and pieces. So I've been in a lot, watching a lot of movies and a lot of TV series. So I'm going to go through them now. Ed's going to chip in where he can as to what he's seen, and we'll have a general chit chat about movies, etc. So
Yes. Yeah.
right, so here we go. Ed has got no idea what's coming up, so
Right.
here we go. Here we go. Strap yourself in. First up, there's a movie. I think it's actually on Netflix or Amazon at the moment. It's called The Courier, with Thingy Bob Cumberbatch is in it.
Right. I haven't seen this, but it's like a
Right.
a 60 spy thing, isn't it?
Well, that's a really good way to start off, because that's what you think. You think, oh, it's sort of 50, 60 spy thing. Well, it's actually a true story. And when you watch it, gets to the end, you just think, how the hell has it taken people so long to make the film of this guy's story? Because the thing is, it's set in inverted commas peacetime. It's set in the Cold War. And the Courier, Benedict Cumberbatch, is basically, he's just a salesman. He's just a bloke. That's it.
Right.
And it's about what happens to him and how he gets caught up. And it's a true story. Absolutely amazing. Really enjoyed it. It's one of those. It's got a wartime feel to it, because obviously it's kind of a spy movie. It's got all of the hallmarks of those kind of films. You know what I mean? Where it just draws in. It's a period piece. It's beautifully done. The acting in it is absolutely top notch.
He's a great actor, Cumberbatch.
Yeah, and he's
really good.
It's a role that's made for him. He's an everyman character. He's just this bloke, and about how he gets drawn into it. So I enjoyed it. Next up, The Protege. Now, apparently, this came out sort of end of 2020, early 21. Now there's Samuel L. Jackson in it. You've got that look on your face, like.
Yeah, I know. I've read about this. Yeah, I haven't seen it because I haven't got access. This might be on Amazon or something. But it's thingy. Right. What's the name?
This is the bit of the podcast where everyone goes, "Yeah, it's just two old blokes trying to remember what film." Maggie Q.
Maggie Q. That's it. Yeah,
Maggie Q.
Right? Designated survivor. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you've got Maggie Q, Samuel Jackson, and Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Keaton. And you just think, right, okay. And it's an hour and 50 minutes. Now, it's called The Protege, and the poster is The Protege, but it's listed as a film called The Asset. So either way, whatever.
This is directed by Martin Campbell, who did Casino Royale and GoldenEye, I think.
Oh, well, you're correct. Well done. Yes,
he does a Jackie Chan film called The Foreigner. It's pretty good. I think it's The Foreigner.
I enjoyed that.
Jackie Chan on Serious Mode. It's pretty good.
I enjoyed that. The Protege. I mean, I was like, it's a bit chewing gummy. Let's give it a whirl. Do you know what? It rocks along at a fair old pace. There's some good snappy dialogue, which goes a long way with me. And tons of action. The action that's done is done really well.
He's very good action director. I mean, sort of keeps it simple but tense. He's very good.
Well, anybody who can get multiple fight scenes out of Michael Keaton and it not And it not being blaringly obvious that it's Michael Keaton's stunt double. Brilliant.
Michael Keaton's in that American Assassin, and I've seen that, and he plays the guy who trains. They all merge into one of these things, don't they?
Oh, American Assassin! What a big fucking cheese wedge of a movie that is. Isn't it? It gets a bit mature towards the end. It really does.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, it's I could watch him read the phone book.
Yeah,
it's Michael Keaton. Have you seen Have you seen The Founder?
All of that. Really good. Michael Keaton's doing some great work. Apparently, Dope Six, excellent.
It is. That's on the list.
All right. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Michael Keaton. Yeah, I've seen him in quite a few things recently, and he's. I watched him in something on Netflix as well. Yeah.
And also, what I like about him is that no one's got a bad word for him. He's clearly a really nice guy. And I saw a documentary on cryptocurrency, right? And the documentary is made by a guy who is a little bit, here and there. You're not quite sure who he is. And he knows a few paparazzi. And he said even some of the stars are investing in crypto and stuff like that. And it shows some footage of Keaton coming out of a restaurant late at night. The paparazzi are there, and it's Michael Keaton. And he's just like, "Good night, guys." Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, good night." And one of them goes, "What do you think's crypto, Michael?" And he goes, "It's funny you should say that." And he walks over, and he ends up having like this 5-minute chat with his supposed enemies, paparazzi. And he ends up coming over and having like a little chat with them about, I've been thinking about that, and so said something, and what do you know? Are you into it? And have you got anywhere? And they has this chat about cryptocurrency with the paparazzi, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But anyway, that's our first tangent.
Yes.
Right. Next up, Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
We were going to go and see the pictures, but then it was like, because the trailer's funny. I like the Venom. When Venom kind of talks and having this dialogue in between themselves inside Tom Hardy. I think that's really funny, but I haven't seen it.
It is without doubt.
Yeah.
And this is it. Like, part of me feels dirty saying this, and part of me is like, no. This needs to be said. It's the funniest film I've seen in 2020. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
As long as
the first one was a bit crap, but it was funny, so I quite enjoyed it. And it's short as well. They're short. They're not like going on for 3 hours. And
it's bizarre as well because it's directed by
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, thank you. And he just cracks on, and it's literally 90 minutes, neither here nor there. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'll definitely check. It's on. We'll check out when it becomes on Sky Movies or something. We've got the Now TV. We'll watch that for sure. I will. Yeah. Cool. That's a sort of film. It's probably entertaining 6 out of 10, and it doesn't need to be more. I'd imagine, as long as it's, if it's not outstanding, it's welcome. It's enjoyable, isn't it? Because everything's too long now. Well, funnily enough, that's like you created a segue. Because next up is Doctor Sleep, the director's cut. I like Doctor Sleep, but it was long enough and it was too long. The director's cut, fucking hell.
Well, right, okay. So the director's cut. To be fair, it's only got a little bit of extra footage. It's only got an extra half an hour.
So that means it's like 2 hours and 55 minutes.
No, it's full on a big old 3 hours.
Right, it's done it. Right, it's longer than Lawrence of Arabia or something, right?
I lasted 50 minutes. And by that point, I was like, right, you have already put back too much. I'm gonna have to leave it.
Yeah.
So yes, this is me reviewing a movie I've only watched 50 minutes of. But to be fair, I have actually watched the movie. And I enjoyed it, and I thought I wanted something that I could really just get absorbed in. And I thought, right, I am gonna watch like Dr. Sleep director's cut. And like I said, I made 50 minutes in. I was just like,
yeah,
dude,
no. When it gets into that, there's an argument. Well, why? Maybe they should have made it as a Netflix limited series, because that guy who makes that does, Mike Flanagan. He does limited series on Netflix. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed. I did enjoy Doctor Sleep, because
I did.
It's a difficult thing to do, and it's kind of reminding me. I remember it's a bit like Psycho 2. If you watch Psycho 2 on its own merits, it's perfectly entertaining, and it's pretty good. It's not, a horror masterpiece, but it's perfectly decent. And I thought like Doctor Sleep was the same, really. There's no point in comparing it. To the original.
Well, speaking of horror, a straight up, well, maybe 3 horror films. First up is Satanic Panic. Which again,
that's like an album title, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it sounds like a band, doesn't it? Yeah. all the way from Wisconsin. It's Satanic Panic.
What's this? Is on Netflix, Amazon?
I think I'm pretty sure it's Netflix or Amazon, but I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. And and so anyone who's got Netflix, Satanic Panic, it's kind of a horror, kind of comedy, but kind of not. Normally, this kind of thing, I would watch. I'd give it half an hour, and at that point, sometimes even less, depending on if like the production values are clearly like lacking, then I'll be out of there. But up to the first half an hour, I was like, do you know what? I'm in. I'm going to watch this, and perfectly entertaining, enjoyable film. Would I go out of my way to recommend it? No. Would I go out of my way to watch it again? No. Have I got anything bad to say about it? Not really.
No, just I've never heard of it. I've never stumbled across it in my searching on Netflix, but I will. Right. I'll put it. I'll do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you, mate. It's I wouldn't, break your neck.
Yeah.
But something that was on Netflix. Now, this annoys me, right? When you get a film that's on Netflix and you go, oh, that's really cool. And the movie is Don't Breathe. And so you establish Don't Breathe with Netflix. And then all of a sudden, in my Sky movies, Don't Breathe 2 appears.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, right, okay, so it wasn't a Netflix film. It was a film that was already made that ended up on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it because I don't have Sky Movies. I watched it on another platform. And Don't Breathe 2. Well, it gets there's some pretty harsh criticisms of this movie online.
Yeah.
And all I can say is I really enjoyed it.
Don't Breathe was a cut above for me. I thought that was really good, really well directed.
Well, I think Don't Breathe 2 is a cut above, but it's a different movie, and I think there is a certain amount of trouble online with the fact that the evil protagonist from the first film isn't necessarily evil in the second film.
Right.
So I think that's, some people have got a moral issue with that.
Right.
Which, given what he was doing when he was, in the first film, is totally understandable.
Icky, yeah.
But all of that is covered. All of that is covered in the movie. So, and I enjoyed it. I mean, and it is as gruesome and brutal in places as the first one. It certainly doesn't disappoint from that point of view.
Right. I'll have a look out for that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's crack on through these, because I'm aware that so far you haven't seen most of these.
That's fine, mate. No, it's fine, honestly.
You're getting the podcast before everybody else. Right, A Good Woman is Hard to Find. Now that's a movie. That's not just me coming out and saying that.
Is this Fergal Sharkey?
Yeah. And have you heard of this? A Good Woman is Hard to Find.
I've not heard of it. Netflix, is it? Or
Do you know what? Let's find out, shall we? Because I just want to say that I did preface, like when we were talking about horror, and I said there's 3 horror movies: Satanic Panic, Don't Breathe 2. Now, I am going to include A Good Woman Is Hard to Find in a sort of Paul Waller style, including a film in horror that's not a horror film, because it's horrific. It's not necessarily a horror film, but it is horrific.
Right, I can see this here. So it's it's like
it's set in Belfast.
Right, yeah.
Which straight away gives you a this kind of movie is, you know, when you're watching film and it feels oppressive.
Yes.
It's got that kind of vibe about it.
It's got a good rating here. It says 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go.
7.3 on Metacritic, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would put that on anyone's list, but I would also issue a word of caution. So, ain't no fucking Christmas film.
Yeah.
And B, it is not the kind of film that you're going to turn to anyone afterwards and go, "Do you enjoy that?"
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of film that
it's not a first date film.
No.
Come on, mine. We'll watch this.
Oh, mate. I in case I'm sure I've said this before, but I think I pretty much hold the record for worst date movie. And when I say date movie, I mean first date. We went to a tiny 50-seat showing of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. What was I thinking?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Came out, and we both just sort of went, right. Wow. That was a bit heavy. So do you fancy getting a drink?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. I was like, yeah, no, neither do I. Yeah, let's do. I just both went our separate ways and never spoke of it again. Yeah. So it's not up there, but it is one of those movies where at the end you're going to go, right, okay, yeah, that was. I'm
excited actually. This sounds really interesting.
Like, yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. So yeah, I'd definitely give it a whirl. But yeah.
Right.
So next up, couldn't be more opposite, on Netflix, Red Notice.
Yes, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What do you think, mate?
I just thought, like, yeah, perfectly good fun, big star power. I think Netflix and they spent 200 million on it, and it's like, you know, it's a lot of money to pay for something that's kind of, just frivolous. And there wasn't even technically, I mean, there was some bad sort of kind of, CGI, like, oh, we're in some foreign country, but there weren't. So they obviously paid a lot of money to the stars. Interestingly, has the most minutes streamed on Netflix in Netflix history, I think. And it's been streamed for about 380 million minutes.
Well, and this is it, because it is all about the 3 main stars, and I really like Ryan Reynolds. I really like The Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just struggle to call him Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And I really like Gal Gadot.
She was good in this, actually. I thought she was good. Yeah.
But
she's getting better.
But I genuinely think that they could have made that film with just one of those fucking stars in it.
Yeah.
Carrying it, and it would have made and would have made it better. Because I just, by the end, I just kind of felt like, do you know what? I couldn't fucking give a shit if you all live forever or die in the next scene.
I was like, it was a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't want to, if I paid for it at the pitch, to be like, oh, but because it's Netflix. But, I worked out.
Because it's Netflix, you've walked out of your front room.
I worked out, because everything's numbers now, isn't it? Netflix, like, oh, it's been streamed 380 million minutes. And I worked out that means it's been watched all the way through 3 million times. So if 3 million people went to the pictures to pay to see it, and the average ticket price in America is $10, it would gross $300 million, which is all right. That wouldn't make its money back if it's cost $200 million. But the strange Netflix, there's that dreadful Ryan Reynolds film, 6 Underground, and I watched about half an hour, 40 minutes of that. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, same here.
And they're putting, you plus a lot of money to put into something that.
The thing is with Netflix and Amazon, what they seem to be into is, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give some stars, a director, whatever, a big chunk of money, and what we're going to do is we're going to fly in the opposite direction of the big studios. We're going to give them the money, and we're going to go, just go make whatever you want to make. And sometimes you watch the film and you just go, there has been no oversight here at all.
No.
They've literally, there's the 200 million, didn't see him for a year. He came back and went, there's your finished movie. Great. We'll stick it on Netflix tonight. All right.
Yeah. It is mad. It's a mad model.
Because you look at it. It's all about. Sometimes you look at it and you just think, fuck me, you've put everything on screen. I mean, is there even any crew behind the camera? Everything is on screen, fighting for your attention.
Yeah. It is strange, but there's obviously whether Netflix execs kind of go down, because in Hollywood there would be a bit of board meeting and.
But it seems that like you've got the studio model, which is where you can have some representatives from the studio saying, "Hey, maybe he could hold this toy up in this scene," or and you've got that level of interference. But it's like Netflix and Amazon have gone, "Hey, the way to attract people away from the studios, those key filmmakers that we want to get into our world, to continue to give it credibility." So they just give shitloads of money to people and go, I tell you what, this isn't like working for a studio. You can just go and do whatever you like. We're not going to come down.
Yeah, they're going to get more of that. I mean, there's a lot of films recently by big directors that haven't done well, that have cost a lot. And, the Marvel's reigning supreme again. And they're just getting in directors who are happy to be controlled, sort of quite indie sort of, smaller filmmakers, the big filmmakers, are they going to be backed with these kind of budgets by studios? Probably not.
Well,
so more and more of them will be heading to streaming, I think.
Well, also I think with the studio model, which I think is ultimately, its time is coming, and they are going to have to look at how they operate, what they do, because basically all the major studios, if you're a major studio right now, you have absolutely no excuse for not having your very own curated online streaming service. And if you don't, you may well not be around in another 10 to 20 years.
There is a problem that the studios, what they should do really is all get together and then curate like a streaming thing that has every freaking film on or something, which the record companies are sort of doing with Spotify, haven't they? Because it's like, we can't afford to go, I'm going to pay for Disney. Oh, now I've got to pay for HBO Max. I've got to pay for this and that. All these films need to be in one place, and every studio that makes films could do that together somehow. But
the thing is,
difficult with TV and everything.
Well, the trouble is as well is that you've got, it's almost like we're going back in time to when the internet first started messing with the music industry. And record labels, to this day, there is not one single record label that owns a digital platform. They gave up their route to market. They gave up their access to their customers. So Amazon and YouTube, Google, etc., own how music reaches the customer. And that means the record companies are absolutely on their arse looking for every single penny. when in fact, years and years ago,
they could have done it. Yeah.
They could have bought Napster out.
Yeah.
You know,
the other crazy thing as well is that there was only 3 majors as well. So they had the corporate power to do, and that's like, it's like, so we'll talk about later, probably. It's like they've got the power to buy the tech. If they don't know the tech, if they don't have the bright minds, you just buy it, you know? Yeah, they could have bought Napster, but just, I don't know, just people just didn't kind of see what was happening apart from Lars Ulrich. So
yeah. Well, the thing is, again, the issue with that is the reason why it happened was old men. All of your record labels, all people at the top, run by a bunch of old men, people telling them in 10 years, right? People, you know, CD sales will be down 50%. Yeah. And you're talking to a guy who's retiring in 8 years.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And everybody just kept saying, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, until there was no jobs, you know, until that job had gone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, fuck me. Tangent.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
It's the same thing as streaming, yeah.
Let's get back to movies. Fuck it. Right. Now, I doubt you'll have seen this, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Just come to Netflix fairly recently. And it's a movie called Villain.
Craig Fairbrass.
Now there's a name.
Now it's on my list. I haven't watched it.
Right. Okay.
And it's called Villain. I was like,
yeah,
I've got to put this on my list.
Well, the thing is, I've reviewed a Craig Fairbrass film before. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I know the name, I can't picture the face. Picture the evil guy in Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone. Okay.
I used to be a fucking good striker.
Yeah. I used to be a fucking good actor. Yeah. But now I'm in a movie with you, Sly. I look like a fucking Oscar winner.
You cunt.
Yeah, you fucking well, I bet you got the same thing as I did when you were going through Netflix, and it goes to Villain, and it just has Craig Fairbrass coming over to a table and going, "Hello, I'm the brother of the owner. Now he tells me that you gentlemen have run up a bar tab that needs to be settled." Straight away, I was like, "Well, I'll be watching that."
Yeah, he's got his own he's got this about 5 football hooligan films he's in or something.
Yeah.
There's one set in the Costa del Crime as well. I started watching that. There's a whole industry there, isn't there?
But do you know what though? There is there's a movie that Craig Fairbrass is in that I have reviewed on here, and I'm trying to look it up at the moment because it's not his usual fare.
Rom-com.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I'm just looking at his listings, right? And in 2022, we've got a film he's in called A Violent Man.
Yes, yeah.
This is it. Right, it's from 2019. Put this in your list, Ed. It's called Muscle.
Muscle, right.
Muscle. Now, it is not a typical Craig Fairbrass film, despite the title. All right. It's more. It's tough. It's tough.
Gritty. I can see it now. It's got boxing in it.
Yeah,
it's a gritty boxing film.
Well, no, it's not.
All right.
It's gritty, and there's some boxing in it.
Yeah.
But stick that on the list, and so that and A Good Woman Is Hard to Find. Yeah, you can apologize to your good lady after both.
Empire Online gives it 4 stars. Like, I don't know, it's good.
Which, when you see Craig Fairbrass's name next to a 4-star review, you think,
yeah,
what's wrong?
Living
with
in Newcastle. It mentions as well.
You see it though, and you just think,
yeah,
Craig Fairbrass in a 4-star movie. Ooh,
yeah,
they've got that wrong. I'd tell you what, but he is superb in it. I mean, he is.
Right.
You watch it and you go, this is what got you into Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
Beneath the cliches, lies a man who can play a fucking disturbing geezer when needed.
Yeah. He's had a career, isn't he? I mean, that's, it's all you can. He's still working.
Yeah.
And he's been. Was he in Passenger 57 as well? I can't remember.
Yeah. Great shout. Yes,
yeah, he was
in
in that. I think he was in I think he was in that, and he was in something called Bedlam,
Lights On,
which is like a Brit horror film years ago. So he's been in EastEnders as well, I think. So maybe he should do a film with Danny Dye. He should just team up with Danny Dye, shouldn't he? All roads lead.
But the thing is, he's a good actor, as you will see. So next up, again on Netflix, The Dead Don't Die.
Right, is this? Is that the Bill Murray, Jim Jarmusch? Yeah,
Bill Murray, Jim Jarmusch, and Kylo
Adam
Ren.
Driver.
Kylo Ren, yeah.
Kylo Ren,
yeah. Have you seen it?
It's on my list. I haven't got around to it yet. I've been kind of in TV mode. I need to do some film watching.
Oh, don't worry. TV's coming up. But look, do you know what? It's okay. I've got the kind of feeling that if you're going to watch it and you want to laugh, you're going to be disappointed. And if you're going to watch it for zombies, you're going to be disappointed. I mean, it is very much a Jim Jarmusch film. It's a movie in its own kind of genre. The fourth wall is broken a couple of times, and the weird thing is that when you only break the fourth wall twice, you kind of put it in the mind of the viewer that there either isn't a fourth wall or it's going to be broken again. There's got to be a purpose to it, and it's done twice in the movie, and it doesn't ruin it for me, but it also brings nothing to the table.
Right, it's just kind of there, and then it's not.
And especially towards the end, literally within the last 10 to 15 minutes, the fourth wall is broken, and it almost ruins the ending of the movie for me, because I spent the next 10 or 15 minutes waiting for another break or calculating what was said when the fourth wall was broken. Applying that back to what I'm watching now doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, well, right, okay, look, if you're going to watch it, don't listen to the next couple of minutes, all right? And I realise I'm kind of ruining it for you as well, Ed, but sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean,
so basically...
it got sort of mixed reviews, that. I think, it's quirky, isn't it, Jim Jarmusch, obviously.
Yeah.
You're right, like everything he makes is kind of, it's just in his thing. What was that film he did with Tom Hiddleston? It was like a vampire gothy film.
My first exposure to him was Ghost Dog with
Ghost Dog, Where the Samurai, yeah.
Yes, yeah. with why do I want to say Florence Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. Which I love. But so basically what happens is there's Bill Murray and Kylo Ren. They're sat in the car. It's surrounded by zombies, and Bill Murray's going, "What are we going to do?" And Adam Driver goes, "Well, I know what's going to happen." And Bill Murray says, "Why?" And he says, "Because I've read the script." And he's like,
right.
and Bill Murray's like, "What, the whole script, including the end?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I only got the parts that I'm in." And Adam Driver's going, "Oh, I got all of it. I got everything." It's like, "So you know what's going to happen?" It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "And he never sent me any of it." He's like, "No." It's like, "After everything I've done for that man." But that's it.
Weird.
Right? And so from then on, it's like, well, hang on. Every single word that comes out of Adam Driver's mouth now, for me, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's been corrupted. Yeah. It's been corrupted by breaking the fourth wall.
it's that's the thing. If you're gonna do that early on, I mean,
but I know it's very late.
If you're gonna break the fourth wall, you need to just do it. You just need to keep doing it, really, like Deadpool or Alfie, or
keep doing it.
It's a narrative device, isn't it?
I don't, and I don't think it's something that you can just do once, because even if you do it once, it leaves people waiting for it to happen again. So you either break the fourth wall consistently as a narrative, or as a narrative aid, or you don't do it. I mean, it's like it's almost like, I hate films with narration. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But with narration,
it can be a lazy device narration.
It could be a lazy device, or you can think, thank fuck, there's a fucking voiceover on this movie.
Or it's really important, It's,
yeah. Whereas you watch this, and it's kind of like, no, that's twice you've done it now, and the first time it's quite early doors, and the next time is in the last 15 minutes. And it's just like, anyway, look, spent too much time on this. The dead don't die, and people don't laugh at that film. Next up, I think this might be a bit of a favourite for you. It's kind of touching on Drive to Survive, and that is the Michael Schumacher documentary, which is on Netflix.
Yes, I've seen this. Like,
you have seen
it. But it's like. It's interesting, but we, I know it's terrible, but I'm just intrigued to see what Schumacher. It's terrible, really, isn't it? It's like that, like morbid curiosity.
Well, the thing is, as long as the family keep the level of privacy that they have, and for those that don't know, Michael Schumacher was knocked into a coma when he was on a skiing trip, close to death. He's still alive. He is kept alive and at the Schumacher residence, ranch, whatever you want to call it. No one has ever seen hide nor hair of him since he went there. And I can't, and I know this is like making lots of assumptions, but I personally just can't help think that there is a lot of people keeping somebody alive who has no quality of life and doesn't actually need to be alive. And it's just, they can't let him go.
I mean, they've got Schumacher's incredibly wealthy, so they've got the money and the infrastructure to get the privacy, to have his own medical team.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd imagine it's a hospital in the basement or whatever. But you just don't know. I mean, he was kept.
Hang on. Did you just come up with with no evidence whatsoever? You've decided he's in the basement of a hospital.
Well, it's in the basement of his house. I'm saying it's a hospital. No, it just seems like that. It just seems like that would be the logical place.
He's built his own medical dungeon.
Yeah, but if you're gonna plumb everything in you need, it's easy to do it at ground level, isn't it?
Mate,
not have to send it up.
All this tells me is that Bond informs your life way too much.
But yeah, Schumacher was a great driver. He's not as good as some other drivers because he didn't like having a competitive teammate, and he didn't. It was always the team was always put around him, and then obviously he had to crash into two people to try and win, which was dodgy. So he'll never be thought of the same way as Senna, although Senna crashed into people and so on. But he's still a great driver, I mean, it's just a really sad story, but it's just that it is amazing. Like, you can, if you've got that wealth, they can basically put this shield and have that privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with quite a few things you said there. But right, okay. Now, moving on to a movie I've had in my list on Netflix for ages. And eventually I got round to watching it. And it's starring Brad Pitt. And it's the film War Machine.
Right, is that, I think I started watching that and I couldn't get away with it.
Yeah. It's Brad Pitt. The thing is, like, it's just one of those roles where at no point did I think, fucking hell, Brad Pitt's great in this. And it's one of those where you go, oh, it's Brad Pitt, like, but he's not quite landing it.
Yeah,
it's like
that was one of the first films to go to Netflix. It was like, oh, bloody hell, there's a Brad Pitt film on Netflix, and obviously the studios made it. Some studios made it, and they've gone, this isn't very good, and they've sold it to Netflix. And it's cheaper. It makes more sense to go, look, it costs this to make it. You have it.
Well, also, it's kind of lost its balls because it's clearly based on a real human being.
Yeah.
Right. And yet it's literally all they've done is change the name.
Yeah.
And then they've done this fictional account. And it's a fictional account because it's a fictional person. But do you know what? I watched it and I thought the overriding emotion after was, well, I've watched that now.
Yeah, I was just looking at the directors, David Midcod, I think he pronounces, he's Australian.
Yes.
But, he did Animal Kingdom and The Rover, which are both really good.
And also the TV series of Animal Kingdom is fucking great.
Is it? Right. And I think he did The King, which went straight to Netflix, which is excellent, but I could be muddling up. No, he did The King, which is Timothée Chalamet, well worth checking out.
Timothée Chalamet with the Timothy.
Yes.
Right. So next up is the latest Keira Knightley vehicle, also starring Matthew Good, being his usual Matthew Good self.
This is the Apocalyptic Christmas film this year. I haven't seen it, but it's on. Is Amazon? This is on.
Yeah, have an Apocalyptic Christmas. I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I can say, I'll retitle it. A bunch of upper class scumfucks are all going to die, and who fucking cares?
Yeah.
There is not one character here that death can't come quick enough for. Right? It's fuck it. Even the children, you're just like, oh, are they going to die? And after about 10 minutes, you just think, not quick enough. Kick them down a well. Someone get a spade.
Yeah.
There is not one person in this film that you don't think like, oh, you poor thing. Or you're just thinking, please, can you all hurry up and die? The film's only 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
Can we get him done in 80? It is. And to be fair, the best thing about the movie is Keira Knightley, who's great, who's gone from being, the IKEA Knightley, all those jokes when she started out. She's actually developed into a great actor.
I like Keira Knightley. I watched her in Summit recently with Dominic West or Chloe. Was it called Chloe? It was like a period drama. It was actually really good, really funny. She was excellent in it as well.
Yeah.
Have
you seen? So you haven't seen Silent Night then?
No, I have not. No.
Okay. Well, funnily enough, true story.
Kermode's review in that.
Well, true story. I don't know if you remember the week before the review, but the week before the review, I nearly called her IKEA. Keira Knightley was on, and she was interviewed by Simon Mayo. And Simon Mayo said, "So, you do this movie?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I was really pregnant with my third child, and it was a really difficult pregnancy. And I read this script, and I thought, wow, that's brilliant. That's a real one-off. Put me down for that, please." Then she had a baby, and she'd had all of the and she said, I was very emotional, when I was pregnant. She goes, then she had the baby and she sat at home and thought, oh, I'll give that script another read over because we're due to meet next week. It's all going ahead. And she read it and she thought, when I read it when I wasn't all hormonal, I just thought, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
She was like, this is fucking insane. This is mad. And the way she tells it is literally, the subtext was, look, I said yes to this when I was off my tits. Right?
Yeah. And now it's like, I don't want to do this.
And now I've only had to fucking make it, haven't I? Because when I was off my tits, I said yes. And that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah. That film's Colette, it was called. Sorry, not Chloe, Colette. That was the Knightley Dominic West film. Yeah, it's well worth checking out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Keira Knightley's top. Yeah, I like the Knightley.
Okay, cool. Look, you haven't seen it. Give it a watch, everybody, but bear in mind, everybody dies and they fucking deserve to. Next up, you won't have seen this probably. It's a movie called Dangerous. There's a little bit of Mel Gibson in it. It's action. It's well done. It's about an hour, 50 minutes. It's not going to change anyone's life. It's not going to ruin your day. Check it out if you fancy it. You know, I haven't got much to offer other than that.
Dangerous. Who's in that as well as Mel?
Nobody really, and Mel Gibson isn't in it much, but funnily enough, plays a pissed up, corruptible doctor, and yeah, he's fucking brilliant in that role. What a surprise!
Mel Gibson needs to be used more. He needs to be uncancelled a bit. Like he's good
well,
value.
The funny thing about him is that he is only ever on this. He's got one scene with another character, and all of his other scenes are and you know you're in a bad movie when you're only in one scene with another actor and all your other scenes are on your own, and the one scene you're in a scene with is Vera Farmiga, right?
Yeah,
that's how you know you're in a shit film. Okay?
Yeah.
and the other scenes with him, he's on his own because he's on the phone, pissed up, handing out advice, and it's like, well, this is what got him in trouble in the first place.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So I think there's a certain amount of real life humor going on there. Hey, why don't we have Mel Gibson as the guy who's handing out all the great advice on the phone during the and let's have him pissed up as well.
Yeah.
Next up after that, so I watched this because I was looking for something that I thought I want something that is just that I can actually kind of really buy into and enjoy, and what do I fancy? And I ended up watching King Richard.
Right, yeah. Again, we're going to go and see the pictures, but everything is just, anything adult is just coming and going in a week or two at the moment. Leaving room for Marvel.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to see it at the cinema because it's not a big screen movie.
Yeah.
But if you'd gone, I don't think you'd have been disappointed. It is. There was those big laughs. I did cry, I think, more than once. There is a scene with Will Smith. For those of you who don't know, Will Smith plays Richard Williams, who is the father of Venus and Serena Williams. Now, before you fucking switch off, like I know some people will, my mum being one of them, as soon as they hear the word tennis, it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's not about tennis.
No.
It's not about tennis, right? It's not about racism. It's not about strong women. It's not about tennis. It is about a Rocky story. It's the Rocky movie. It's coming from nothing and achieving everything. That's it. It's got nothing to do with the gender, the race, the sexuality. It is played as this is what happened. Both Serena and Venus are listed as producers on the movie. It's an unflattering, unfettered look at what their father did to them as children. And there was no abuse in there. Can I just get it out straight away?
Yeah.
And it's almost the two girls going, well, this is what he did, and this is what our lives were like. Have a look, see what you think.
Yeah.
There's not an agenda there. There are times where you watch, and Will Smith is great. He's great in the role. There are times where you watch him and you just think, shut up, and what are you doing? You're an idiot. You're a terrible father. There's other times where you just think, go on, man, fucking, let them have it. Yeah, what a great dad that guy is.
Yeah.
And in other words, like most people, he has his pluses, he has his minuses, he has his faults, and he has his his abilities. And it's a fascinating movie, and I would definitely, that's a Christmas movie right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to seek that out, because it's kind of Oscar bait, his performance, probably.
Yes.
So,
and
award season,
And it's really weird as well, because it's not a movie that I sought out. It was there. I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm in the mood for a true story.
Yeah.
You know, and let's face it, you know what happens.
Yeah.
But watching the movie, and to be fair, I was expecting, you know, 2 or 3 well-handled, clunky scenes of racism. You know, it's like, what are these black kids doing? You know, doing in our white tennis club?
Yeah.
When in fact, what you get more of is black street thugs wanting to know why Richard Williams is bringing white people down to the tennis court. It's like, motherfucker, this is John McEnroe's coach. And you've got like fucking Crips and Bloods there. Crips and Bloods. You've got gang members there, like fully tooled up, going, shit, you John McEnroe's coach. And he's like, and the guy's like, yeah. He goes, man, I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live. Oh, thank you. And I really enjoyed it. There are moments of just, they're so heartwarming. You know, and there is one scene that I will come back to. There's one scene with Will Smith and Serena. And this movie finishes with the girls just coming through. It doesn't show any of their career. Hence, it's not about tennis. It's not about watching.
Yeah, it's about getting
tennis
to
matches.
The point where you can.
But it's seeing their journey, and and you know what's forgotten now is that Venus was the one.
Yes, yeah.
Venus broke through. Venus was world number 1. Venus this, Venus that, Venus this. Serena had to enter tournaments without her dad knowing. He found out at a tournament. Right. Because he didn't think so anyway, they're out there, and I am going to give this away, but fuck it, who cares? He sees Serena stood down a corridor staring out at the tennis court that Venus has played on that day, and like, you know, in a big tournament and all the rest of it. And he comes down and he sort of says to her, he says, "You're pleased for your sister?" And she's like, "Yeah, Dad, yeah." And he says, "But this is hard for you, isn't it?" And she's like, yeah, it is. And he says, "You know what? Venus is going to be world number 1 one day, without a doubt." And Serena's going, "Yeah, I know, Dad. I know, Dad." He said, "But you are going to be the greatest of all time."
Yeah, wow.
And that is why I have done this. That is why you are not playing. That is why everything is harder for you. That is why you've been held back.
Yeah, because you got to chase it. Yeah. Because
I had to see, because you've got the ability, but I had to see if you've got what it takes, and you have. And you're just watching it going, fucking hell, this can't be true. This can't be fucking true. This can't be real.
Yeah.
And it is. That this guy had a plan before these 2 girls were born.
Yeah. Mental.
It is. Yeah. Great.
It's an amazing story. Like
it is. So next up, 90 minutes, Arctic, Mads Mikkelsen. He's stuck in the Arctic.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. 6 out of 10. Mads, it's always great.
Yeah. Job done, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Mads in the snow. Fairly cool. Yeah. Next up, Antlers.
Right. Yeah. This is just come out, isn't it? And it's like, it's kind of come and gone. It's got a good director, actually. Scott Cooper, is it? He did he did that Top Western with Christian Bale. But anyway, is it weird? Like a weird sort of horror. It's the Wendigo, isn't it?
Yes.
Mythology, yes.
Yeah. It is. It's well done. I mean, Jesse Plemons is in it.
Oh, I like Jesse Plemons,
yeah. And do you know what? It is really well done. I mean, nothing happens in it. Pretty much nothing happens in it that you aren't expecting. That, like, from minute 1, but it's really well done. It's really enjoyable. So yeah, I mean, I'm, thumbs up from me. Not amazing, but good. It's good.
Yeah.
Next up, not sure if you've seen this, Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings.
I have. I went to the pictures to see it, and anyway, regretted it. Because all my, people are like, "Oh, Shang-Chi's good." I said to my wife, I said, "Oh, should we go and see Shang-Chi?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's supposed to be good." And we went, but we're just not Marvel people, Howard. I just every time I got Marvel, I just get bored.
Right. I'm
it started off good. I like the start of it, and there's some great fight sequences. The way it was kind of doing the Crouching Tiger thing really well, but then I don't know. It just kind of fell away for me.
Now, I totally agree, right? Because the start, which is fine, but then when he meets her and they have their fight, this is up the front. Yeah. This is up the front. When they have that fight, I was absolutely like spellbound. I was just taken out of my world and I was dropped into this world where they don't fight. It's like a dance. He's fighting her, but she's just playing with him, and I was just absolutely transfixed. So this is fucking.
That's really, really well done. That bit,
great. It's really well done. The action in the bus going down the hill in
that was a fun sequence.
Is brilliant. Also, the female American stand-up, she's great.
Awkwafina's very good.
She keeps things moving. Thank you very much. She keeps things moving, and I was like, oh, this is okay, right? Until Milado gets caught, and then Man of the Rings goes, right, your mum is still alive. She's trapped over here. We're going to steam in, going to go down there and sort it all out, get her back.
Yeah.
And what if what if she's not there? Like, oh, we're going to burn that village down. Oh, you can't. And all of a sudden, literally, the whole movie turns on like half a scene. Because it's like he stood there going, we're going to get your mum back, and the kids should be like, all right, okay, fair enough, good idea, we'll help you. What if she's not there? And we'll burn the place to the ground, and they just totally turn on a sixpence and go, what the fuck, man? You can't do that. And it's like, right, okay, you're now standing up for a load of people that you've never met, a load of villagers you've never met. There might be 10 of them, there might be 1,000, whatever. Potentially, your mum is still alive, but you're putting the well-being of everybody else, apart from potentially your mum, in front of that. And the whole movie just it failed on that. It failed because that move and that father with father against son, then it's father with son, and then it's father against son in the space of about 3 minutes.
It's kind of more interesting having them doing those fights in the urban environment. When I went into the kind of what I call a fantasy realm, it's like, I don't know, it was kind of like two films, wasn't it, in a way?
Yes. Yeah.
When I had the fight on the scaffolding, that was really good, and like that was, it was kind of better in that environment.
But at the end, I mean, for instance, as well, right? They break out of somewhere in a car. Right, of where they're being imprisoned by their dad. They break out in a car, and the next scene, they are sat in the car on the edge of the sacred forest, ready to go down this route that appears only once a year. And it's like, how the fuck have you got there?
Yeah. And the other thing as well, the Ben Kingsley character thing, unless you've seen Iron Man 3 and you really know that film, like I kind of remembered him and that, but my other half was like, when have we seen that? I said, he's in Iron Man 3, but it was all very like gooey, that,
Right. Well, I was unaware of that entirely. And instead, I knew Ben Kingsley was in, and he was in it. Ben and his wandering accent as he wanders all around the Midlands searching for Liverpool. It's literally, he's all around the Midlands looking for Liverpool, and he never finds it. He finds West Brom. I mean, it's like he finds all. I don't know. That's not a Scouser, Ben. You know,
Yeah.
But it's a Hollywood movie. There's no one on the set who's going to go, Ben, that's not a Scouser accent. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's everybody who's thinking, oh, it's Ben Kingsley. He's going to get an Oscar for this, until it goes out in England and everyone realizes his accent is fucked. But so, well, yeah, probably spent a little bit too much time on that. Yeah, whatever. Next up, probably something we're spending too much time on, Gunpowder Milkshake.
Again, this has been on the list. To be honest with you, I didn't watch it because I was going to get a bit tired of, like, you watched a film called with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh, now you're testing my brain now.
What Kate? Yeah.
Ah, right. Yes.
Yeah. And I started watching that, but I'm kind of tired of, like, these. There's a lot of chop socky films with really long takes and amazing fight scenes. But so Gunpowder Milkshake was like, is it going to be like that?
Yes.
Anyway, is it any good? Is it worth seeing? Or...
It stars Lena Headey and Karen Gillan. And,
that's good.
And well, that is good. But do you know what? You just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because in the last 15 minutes, there is a massive action scene. And it's done in slow motion. And I fast forwarded it.
Yeah. It's just
by that point, I was like, I mean, I'm a fucking action junkie. You have got to go several miles off road to lose me with too much action. But I was just like, oh, fucking hell, really? Again?
But nothing, a lot of these scenes now, they're not special, you know. When you first see,
Ed, you're wrong. Ed, sorry. Can I just cut across you there? You're wrong. And do you know why you're wrong? Because it's two women. Can't do any wrong. It's two women, two strong women having a strong fight, beating men up. I'm sorry, you cannot criticize that, you fucking sexist bastard.
But it's like, you get a lot of these sequences. And I remember when I was thinking back to, like, the first film I saw, obviously there'd be John Wick, where you kind of got really long takes on fight scenes, aside from the Hong Kong ones. And then something like Hardcore Henry, which is like mental. And I think the guy did Hardcore Henry Does Nobody, which I quite enjoyed. But it's just that thing, like, it's no longer feels special, like, you know, the camera going everywhere. I don't know. Oh, and I've come
back full circle. I'm now more Denis Villeneuve, which is just shoot it from a little bit further away, and so we can actually see who is hitting who. That'd be fucking
absolutely. Great. That'll be the same with when we're talking about before the Maggie O film with Samuel L. Jackson. That's probably got sensible camera. It'll just be shot in like a really kind of economic style, and I'm more into that, real stunts. The thing is, with all these, it is amazing the choreography they do, but basically you got the digital cutting. It's not like when we got into films, when you see a long take, you're like, Jesus Christ, how have they done that? Whereas now, you know, there are loads of sneaky edits and, you know, wipes. And it's a lot easier to do these things now because of equipment. So it doesn't feel as much of a kind of technical tour de force moment, but, you know.
But I also think that, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is that when you do get something where it feels like you can feel the punches, and when you get something that is like that, when you get something that is filmed personally how I prefer it, you know, where it's a little bit sort of set back, as it were, and more real stunts. Now, when you watch those things, you go, right, like they stand out more.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff the digital stuff, the stuff that tries to put you in the fight. That I'm becoming blasé with, and that is now that totally. Initially that Paul Greengrass, the Bourne films, you know, they set the bar that Bond had to jump over. And but that's fucking years ago now. You know, and it's time that we need to have a reassessment and step back because ultimately we've gone from. It's like, is your fight scene necessary? Is it advancing the story, the characters, the movie? Is it doing anything for the film? Because ultimately, if it's not, get it the fuck out of there. You're just doing action for action's sake. And if you want the fight to tell a story, step back.
Yeah, I mean, the Greengrass style, it sort of broke continuity lines and things like that. And although I really enjoy it, I prefer to know where I am geographically in the scene. as a viewer, I don't want to be disorientated. I've always enjoyed like Enter the Dragon or something like that, where you're just seeing you're seeing you're seeing it more in a kind of medium shot, wide shot, and then you got some close-ups and that, and it's just kind of done in a traditional way, really.
Yeah, and I also think that we wanted to make it feel like you're in the fight.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, what's your end game? I'm not in the movie.
Yeah,
I'm not in the scenes before the fight or after the fight. So how am I expected to be in this one?
Yeah,
what makes you think you're drawing me in? You're not. All you're doing is drawing me so close to a fight, I can't see what's going on. It's like, like when something's there, you have to just sort of step back a bit. It's like, well, that's kind of how it feels sometimes. But and basically it's overlong, it's over fighty, but it's
got over fighty a little bit. Yeah,
it's got a whole bunch of women in it, so therefore, I'm not going to say anything more other than what a fantastic movie it is. And it's like everything else. We're in a time we live in a time of overcorrection. The cine world will look back on the times we live in now and go, fucking hell, they would make any film with two strong women in it back then, wouldn't they? It's like two strong women fight over a bottle of milk.
Yeah.
This new
a lot of it'll look clunky, things that they're doing now. Like it's a good way course correction, but
but exactly. It's like, we were massively over here on it. Now we're massively over here on it, and one day hopefully we'll end up like here, which is where we need to be. But that was my last movie. Let's move on to TV shows.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's now. I know I'm going to throw Dexter back in here because I think I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to throw it back in here because I'm on with you. But anyway, let's start with 2 seasons available of Dead Pixels. The look of horror on your face.
Dead Pixels, right? No, I haven't seen this. It's just a Netflix, isn't it?
No, it's Channel 4. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, but funnily enough, Netflix have only got 1 season. If you want to watch both seasons and you've got Sky, they're in your box. But Dead Pixels, watch that first episode and you're in. It's about a bunch of gamers. Well, actually, it's about 2 gamers and their struggles with the outside world. And their flatmate, who's always doing stuff, they live in her flat and she's always doing stuff and they're never doing anything. But they always laugh at her for how little she's achieving when look at what we're achieving online.
Yes.
Seriously, man, I really enjoyed it. I smashed through 2 seasons in 3 days. They're 20, 25 minutes an episode. And so you can just dip in, dip out. Episode 1 is like, and the thing is, I know you're not a gamer and I'm not a gamer, so we're missing, or you'll miss all of the in-gamer jokes. That I'm missing as well. So there's a whole level in there of humor that I've missed, but still really, really enjoyed it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to make me laugh. But there are bits in that where I was properly laughing. One could almost say guffawing. And the exact opposite of that would be Dope Sick, which it's 10 episodes.
It's the OxyContin scandal.
It's the OxyContin scandal that is still rolling.
Is Apple, is it to do it?
Who? Yes, Apple TV. No, Apple do not make OxyContin. Let's get that very clear. Okay. Mate.
That's got Keaton in it, though, hasn't it?
Yes.
I've been interested about this. I've heard really good things about this, and it's kind of like, moral outrage. Just like,
It's absolutely outrageous. I'm trying to think of the drug company that is concerned, actually, that make it. And it's unbelievable what they've got away with. It is absolute. So head dude who used every trick in the book to make sure that this went through. That basically, it's like, oh, OxyContin is not addictive, and basically they said they had this patented thing, and it was not addictive because of slow release. Blah blah blah. Utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Utter bullshit. But they got the head of all the drug companies in the States. I'm trying to think what the organization is called. And they got the head of it to give them a special sticker that had never been awarded before, saying that it was non-addictive. Well, he got sacked and turned up he turned up at the drug company. It's absolutely unbelievable. It really is. Brilliant TV series, but also hugely depressing, I have to say.
Yeah. Just that people can get away with it, and not be held accountable. And it's corporate America.
It is absolutely just it's insane. It's written by Beth Macy. It is based on her book, and she wrote it. And it also I was just having a look there. One of the directors, I think, is Barry Levinson.
Right.
Which again gives you an idea of like the quality of show you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Barry Levinson directs an episode. Michael Cuesta. Absolutely right. Yes. Purdue Farmer, who, funnily enough, if you go to their Twitter, say how they're investing billions to help with America's wave of opioid addictions. Wow, you fucking created it. You absolute cunts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
The problem with stuff like this is, like, say you've got chronic back pain and then you take one, and they're like, oh, bloody hell, this will be good. And then,
Well, the thing is that it's like that was supposed to be okay. It was supposed to get you through the night as well, because it's a slow release mechanism, which we now know does not exist. Never did.
Yeah.
So what they did was just start upping the dose, just up the dose, just give them another one.
Yeah.
Give them another one. Then they invented the bigger pill, the 80 milligram pill. And it was just like, they just kept feeding the fucking beast. They literally, like, around every corner, when it looked like there might be a slowdown in prescriptions, there might be just kick it through, come up with something else, and it's just fucking horrific. Horrific. But anyway, next up, TV series on Sky. Not sure if you're watching this. Have you seen any Yellow Jackets?
It's on my list. We're just waiting for some more episodes to drop, and then we're going to watch that. It looks good. I like the sort of the setup of it. Sounds like a cross between Alive and, I don't know, Friday Night Lights or something. I don't know. Yeah. But
well, to be honest with you, mate, that would be a lot better. I looked at the cast and I looked at what they were trying to achieve, and I, like you, went, put that on my list.
Yeah.
I got halfway through episode 2 and I was like, this is not as advertised.
Right, not happening yet.
Why is Juliette Lewis all of a sudden unable to act? Literally turned up on set, no script, never acted before, throw her in a scene. It's like, what the fuck has happened here? I mean, to be fair, Juliette Lewis is not the guarantee of quality that she used to be. I'm not saying it's because she's now a Scientologist, but it is because she is now a Scientologist. I mean, if your worldview is that,
it must be Scientology.
Well, look. If your worldview is that fucked up, how could you spot a decent script? Hey? I mean, when your head's that far up your own arse, how the hell are you going to be able to see out and see whether it's daylight?
I was getting excited for this. I was like, oh, great, I'm going to watch that Yellow Jackets. But,
mate.
No.
Look, I'll say no more, although I kind of need to, because that's the purpose of the show. I thought it was shit. And to the extent where I was like, hang on, right? For a start, the premise is all these girls in a soccer team crashed in a plane, and you're thinking, okay, so you're ripping off Alive here, right? And they went fucking native. Yeah, they went piggy. They went Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
But when we arrive in their lives, that's all done and dusted and in the past.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure I know who lives then.
Yeah.
Because they're right there, alive right now. So you get little flashbacks.
Yeah.
Believe you me, the whole first episode, you're waiting for something to happen, and what you realize is it's just a bunch of fucking teenagers going around playing football and drinking beers with like the ice hockey team, and it's basically it's an 80s. It's almost like Porky's. Do you know what I mean? It starts you're just like, well, oh, this is what's happening. Also, there is a scene that is, and I was like, oh, please don't. Oh, they're gonna, aren't they? Yes, it's an American TV series about an American team of American female footballers, and they show them playing a game. Now, let's be clear, men or women, doesn't matter. Don't film scenes on a football pitch, because people who've played football will watch it, wince, but in this case, burst out fucking laughing.
Yeah.
Because the winning goal is scored by a girl and she heads it. And the actual scene, the actress has stood there and somebody has thrown the ball at her head really hard.
The thing is, you said football, and I'm thinking American football, but you need to say soccer.
Yes. Yeah. But literally, she stood there and somebody has thrown the ball really hard at her head, and it's bounced off her head and into the goal. Right. And the thing is that one scene, that one bit of her heading it is cut in the middle of like wing play and beating a player, and you think this isn't that bad, and then the cross comes in and you just I burst out laughing, had to rewind it and watch it again and laugh harder.
She might have done like loads of takes, and then she'll sue for like head.
Absolutely.
It's a 50th take.
Yeah. Now now I've got to be honest, right? I'm taking the piss because of how badly it's done. Not because it's women's football. It's not. It's because how badly it's done, and it's
yeah.
Okay, I don't mind slacking off America.
It's Diana Ross taking a penalty bad.
It's that bad. It's that bad. It is that bad, right? In fact, it makes Diana Ross look like Cristiano fucking Ronaldo.
Oh, brilliant!
But so basically, it's shit. Yeah, it was shit. Yeah. I made it to episode 2. Funnily enough, IMDb, it's one of those where it's really there's quite a debate over it, and it seems split. There's people giving it like 4 and 5 and saying misled. Why can't these great actors act anymore? It's a boring teen thing. None of the characters are likable, and also. It's too slow to reveal what you already know. It's really weird because when you watch the first episode, if you knew nothing at all that happens in this, right, then there may be an element of, what's happening here? Oh, where does this go? But because you've got a whole buffet of this is what this series is about. This is where it's going. This is what happens. That first episode is just like, fuck me, get on with it. Instead, they spend an hour making you hate the characters.
Yeah.
And then I said episode 2, and I just turned to the person I was watching it with. I was like, "Are you bothered about this?" I'm like, no, not at all. So you sure? She was like, yeah, it's just. Anyway, sorry about that, mate.
No, it's all right. It's okay. I'll maybe not watch that.
Are you watching Chucky?
No, I've seen it. It's kind of come up on my feed. Yeah, maybe. Is that any good?
I mean, I've got 3 or 4 episodes in, and do you know what I found myself doing? And I do feel a bit stupid for this. So, like, hands up, everybody. I know what I'm saying. I know what I did.
Yeah.
But it took to about 3 episodes, and I went, it's fucking dull.
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing with my life?
I watched a couple of Chucky films recently. It was a rebooted Chucky film. Like they did a reboot, and then there's another Chucky one. It's all the same director, I think. Like, that's all he's done for the last, however many years is Chucky. Yeah, I probably won't watch it, but who knows?
Right, okay. Yeah.
I'm guilty of watching Chucky, though.
Nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see, nothing to talk about. Move on. Okay, well, you won't have watched this. I like the Marvel stuff. I'm watching the new series, Hawkeye. I'm about 4. I think there's a 5th episode out, which I haven't seen yet. I'm 4 episodes in, really enjoying it. But I am a big Jeremy Renner fan, to the extent that, yes, the fucking Bourne film with him in it is good. It's good because he's in it. He's in it.
Renner's a good actor.
Yeah.
Renner's obviously he's top in the Hurt Locker. The one with Ben Affleck, The Town, is very good in that.
He's very good in that, but for me, he really comes to in on his own, and I'm just trying to think what that movie's called. He's with one of the Olsen sisters. He's in it.
Oh, right, the one where he's investigating the murder on Native American land.
Yeah, we're going to do this, aren't we?
Wind something, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right as well. Shit.
Yeah, it is good. It's a good film.
It's not Wind Talker, is it? It's not Wind Talker. That's something.
No, that's Nicolas Cage. Wind Talkers.
Yeah, right. Wait, you look up. Wind River.
I put Jeremy Renner.
Wind River. I've got it. You heard me, listeners. You heard me. I beat him.
Yeah. It's great. I just put Jeremy Renner, Wind, in it. Yeah, Wind River. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner.
It's Elizabeth Olsen, isn't it? Elizabeth Olsen.
So yeah, it's great. It's really snappy. I get snappy dialogue. There's and it continues the story. I'm enjoying actually enjoying the Marvel series. I enjoyed Loki. Loki
was supposed to be very good.
I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And yeah, cool, man. Nothing to add other than, like, if you like that kind of stuff, you're going to be right anyway. Right, next up, have you seen this yet, or is it on your list? It might be on your list. American Rust.
Again, this was on my list, and then I read crappy reviews for it because it's got Jeff Daniels in, isn't it? And it's set in it's like a detective thing in the Rust Belt.
Yeah.
So Jeff Daniels, top. Loved the Looming Tower.
Oh, isn't he great in that?
Great in that. Then this looked, because I liked Mayor of Easttown. Again, that's sort of Melio, I was guessing, but I don't know. Like I say, reviews weren't great. So, but I haven't ventured in yet.
It's very funnily enough, reminded me of the Mayor of Midtown, and great one for mentioning the Looming Tower. Also, he did is it the TV series Network News or Newsroom?
The Newsroom, yeah. Was that Aaron Sorkin? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aaron Sorkin. How many words can I get in a sentence?
Yeah.
The answer is more than everyone else.
Yeah.
Because I just get my characters to speak them faster, and if you can't understand, that's your fault.
I tried watching The West Wing. We watched the first episode, but it was like making my head hurt. It looked really old as well. It looked like 1999 or 2000. It's kind of weird. It was like
it is. Yeah. No, I was in on that a long time ago, man. I really enjoyed it. But American Rust. Well, personally, I'd say make your own decision.
Yeah.
I loved it, but I am gonna make an admission here. Across the series, there is there is some obvious sexual tension right at the beginning between two main characters.
Yes.
Two male main characters. And by the end of episode one of them has left town.
Right.
Either episode 1 or episode 2, one of them has left town. And he goes on a journey across Middle America. And it would appear to be a journey of sexual discovery and self-discovery.
Yeah.
So this lad is obviously he's a I don't know if he's a homosexual. He clearly is gay, but I'm not sure if he's out in the village or not. But anyway, he ends up leaving the village, and basically goes on a journey of sexual discovery and awakening, and basically shagging his way around the Midwest United States. He starts out in a railway car, getting thrown out of that by two gay guys who are going to attack him, and he gets out of that, and he ends up becoming a rent boy and has some good experiences and some bad experiences, and meets up with another guy, and they go around and doing their business in twos. Then he's caught in a crime or something like that. One of the police officers befriends him because that police officer is gay, and none of his colleagues know. And he says, "Look, leave this kid with me. He'll be okay. I'm not going to book you. I'm not going to take you downtown." Takes him in. He ends up having a little relationship with him, and then eventually the lad feels really guilty about the reason why he left town, and fucks off back there in the last episode. Now, what I'm going to admit to doing is every time his storyline came up, I fast forwarded it.
Right, because it was like, why do I need this storyline? Because it's taken away from the...
Well, and it's like, guys, there are 2 TV series. There are 2 stories to be told here. One is murder.
Yeah.
And one is, well, I'm pretty sure I'm gay. I'm now going to spend a lot of time proving it.
Yeah.
And it's not that it didn't speak to me. It's not that I don't have any interest in the tale of a young homosexual man discovering his sexuality and struggling with guilt, etc. All of that at play. The trouble is that nearly the entire show is not about that. It's about a murder committed in a small rural community. Yeah. It's about how it affects everybody. It
sounds like a Scandi noir, isn't it? Scandi noir it's about the effects of the crime. It's more than the crime itself.
It's Mayor of Easttown, right? It's Mayor of Easttown. Noir, and also one of the major women in the series works in a seamstress factory where they make dresses, and she's trying to unionize. So you've got that storyline as well. And the trouble is, by putting him on the road, what you've done is literally, I'm not only figuratively being removed from all of the main drama.
Yeah.
And
you're taking him out of the town.
And geographically.
Yeah. So why not keep him in the town and just make it part. Yeah.
So I keep being dragged on the road following this guy whose story, well, I'm way ahead of you. Yeah, there is nothing happening in this story that nothing happens in this story.
I might come back to this and take. I noticed it's created by Dan Futterman. I'm just looking up there. He did Foxcatcher. He wrote that and Capote.
Now, Foxcatcher is a very interesting comparison.
There's the documentary that on Netflix is watching. I haven't watched. I watched the film, but that's a truth is stranger than fiction story, isn't it? Very strange.
Yes, yeah. But funnily enough, there is a kind of Foxcatcher element to it. There is the element of like this is a bit fucking weird. And some of the scenes with the boy on the road are some of the most graphic scenes in the whole series. Bearing in mind, when we're talking graphic scenes can be of anything. It could be murder, it could be sex, it could be violence, it could be And there is a murder in this. There is a death in this, but the most graphic scenes are this boy's sexual discovery. And so again, for me, I'm not being asked to choose between the two, but I keep getting dragged away from what feels like the main story to go, by the way, don't forget what this guy's going through. And I'm thinking, fuck him, he left town.
Yeah.
Like, shit's going down. Shit's going down here. Fuck this guy, he left. And seriously, every time I fast forwarded the scenes, I was like, fuck you, guy, you left town. you don't get to be in my series.
Maybe this is the new thing, though. Like, it's just piecing together your own series. You
left town, motherfucker.
I'm guilty of getting bored of sometimes when I'm watching the film. Eventually, sometimes I'll lose interest and we'll just forward to see what happens. Like, life's too short to kind of give, an extra hour, half an hour to some things when it's like actually.
Well, it's my theory on why more and more bands are putting out double albums, Maiden, Metallica, Mastodon. And it's because they fucking if they want a playlist, then give them as many songs as possible and let them make a fucking playlist. I don't give a fuck what's on the album. I'm putting all the songs on the album. Fuck them. Yeah. Everybody's always saying that this is the best song when it clearly isn't. So it's like no one knows fuck all. So instead of really curating your album, put them all out there and let everybody curate their own album. So everybody has their own version of Senjutsu, and their own version of Saying It, for fuck's sake. Everyone's got their own version of Hardwired. Everyone's got their own version of any double album, apart from Red Hot Chili Peppers' Stadium Arcadium, in which case no one's got it. Everyone's burned it. But it just feels like, just give them content, give them like as much as they want, and let them figure it out without us.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's like, where's the craft then? It's kind of removing that sort of judgment, isn't it?
But that was removed by labels. That was removed by labels because the internet came about. But also, by the same token, it's been there for years. And I guess what we're talking about, actually, this is interesting. It comes back to something we were talking about earlier. This kind of loops in with what we were talking earlier about the lack of studio system. And it's like you're removing. Well, that's what Amazon and Netflix have done. If we go back to what we were saying earlier, like bands just putting out a shitload of stuff and going, well, labels don't curate the band's album anymore because they're just going to put as much stuff out as possible to give people as much stuff, because people just want stuff. They want content. It's about volume of content. It's not about quality of content. And so that's happening in the music industry, and how that is, and how that's affecting the movie industry is what we were talking about earlier, which is Netflix and Amazon going, no, just have a load of money and do what you fucking want.
Yeah, it's like the iPod started that in a way, because people I've got 10,000 songs on my iPod, and that was more important than how many of them are good songs, It was the key. Songs. Well, it was the key to
Apple working with the record companies, because by the time record companies woke up and went, this isn't going away, we need to work with somebody. Apple and iTunes are the leader. Let's go and work with them. By that point, you have had X amount of multi-billion-dollar corporation, music entertainment corporations going to Apple and iTunes and going, would you put some of our bands on it, please?
Yeah.
Yes, but not albums. It's got to be individual songs. And all those labels just bending over and going, okay, I mean, we're fucked now. We have no power whatsoever.
Yeah.
So and that was it. There wasn't even an argument. It wasn't that the music industry lost the argument. It was that there was no argument. By the time we acknowledged there was an argument, as the music industry acknowledged there was an argument, it was over. They'd already lost. It was just a case of how badly do you want to lose?
Yeah.
But anywho, fucking hell, tangents everywhere. I know we've both seen this, but people, I think, might have had my take on it or might not. I'm not sure. Squid Game.
Yes, I watched this 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, about the same.
Yeah, it was that was his half term. I think it was off over sort of what was the half term. Yeah, a lot of people seem to some people online have seemed to have gone against it because people were saying it was really popular, it was amazing. People were like, oh, wasn't that good? I really enjoyed it. It's like something like the Korean. It's got like themes I've seen in Korean cinema. You know, you've got like the underclass that haven't got money, like Boon John Hoon. Sorry, I mispronounced his name. That's terrible. Well done, Parasite director explores all this. The class sort of system in South Korea. So yeah, Squid Game was funny.
Of course, in Parasite, in Parasite, he dealt with those themes.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, he's not anything to do with Squid Game, but
no.
There's Okja as well, and what's it called? The one on the train. That's the same idea.
Train to Busan.
Snowpiercer. You've got like
right, okay.
Class. You've got like a class structure in the train, like and that.
Oh, sorry, mate. I was expecting a slightly more highbrow comparison than fucking Snowpiercer.
But it's just that idea, like like in the South Korean culture, like they do look at it. This thing. Oh right, yeah. So like the Squid Game. I like the themes that explored, but it was funny. Like when they played some of the games, it was funny, it was witty.
It's really well done. Really well done. And the tug of war particularly was really well done.
Yeah, that was really good. The tug of war and it's just I enjoyed it. It's good.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Whatevs. I didn't think it was amazing. Great review. I didn't think it was amazing, and I didn't think it was shit.
I think I marked it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, good lord! Well, that's more generous than I would
8 out
think,
of 10
but,
for me.
Fair enough. Well, a new series that has come to Netflix that I would recommend to anyone, especially over Christmas, and especially if you've got kids, and even if you haven't got kids, and that's a series on Netflix called Elves.
This is the kind of Swedish demonic elves thing, yeah? Right.
Yes.
It's on my list, yeah.
6 episodes. I mean, some of the episodes are not even 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
So what I found was you watch an episode and you're enjoying it and it stops and you go, oh, right. Oh, next episode. And then you've watched 3 episodes. Well, you've now watched half the series.
Yeah.
And you've only been watching it an hour.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Everybody I've recommended it to has watched it in a day. Now that's not a target, but it's that kind of thing. I mean, a lot of the episodes are 23, 24 minutes long.
Right.
And there is something about it. And I got a message from somebody yesterday who went, you bastard, I've watched 1 episode of Elves and I'm in. I'm hooked. I've got to watch more.
Right. I'm definitely gonna watch that because I kind of read some reviews. I went online and then because when the series pops up, I look like what are the reviews like on it. But they weren't as great, but the trailer was really funny. So I'll probably do it. I'll delve in, I think.
I liked it. I watched it with subtitles as opposed to voiceover, which bugs me.
Yeah.
And because it's Scandi, there are some different types of characters, which I really like. There's a woman in it who is a disciplinarian. And she's really strict and really straight talks to everyone, child or adult. And there's just something about that character where you just think, do you know what? If this is getting made over here or in the States or in Australia, that character's not in it.
Yeah.
That character is just not there. Those lines are not even shared out amongst the rest of the cast. That's getting done away with. But I think what really works for me is the fact that they're almost a moral anchor of the whole thing. I mean it's cool. It's a cool thing to watch over Christmas. I shall
do that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, my believe it or not, right? Let's go really quickly. Final TV series. Is Gomorrah the Italian mafia? Season 5 had just started. Just to say, season
5 started, is it?
It's all episodes available on Sky.
All right, shit, right. I didn't know that. Awesome. I love Gomorrah.
Watched episode 1 of season 5 last night, mate. Oh!
Yeah, that was one of my first lockdown things, like a paint and decorator. No, the guy just paint and decorate, and he came round, he was doing something for us. And I said, what have you been watching recently? He says, I've been watching this thing, Gomorrah. And I said, all right, I've seen, I had it in me. You see it on Sky Atlantic or whatever. But I had never bothered to watch it, but it's fucking superb, like, isn't it? It's just one of the great series. Like,
it is so gritty. Is just not the word.
Yeah.
Not the. If this meal
music as well. Yeah.
If Gomorrah was a pie, right? It would be a grit pie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's no fucking pictures of the Trevi Fountain and and all your various like beautiful Italian scenes. This is a side of Italy that you've never seen.
Well, the journalist who did about the Gomorrah, he's in hiding, Roberto Saviano. So he wrote an investigative journalist book piece, on the Gomorrah, and then he's in hiding, But they reckon Naples is like a failed city. It's basically run by the mafia, the council, everything. But I love the way that each episode kind of finishes with like a cool kind of Atmos shot and music. It's got its style down, but it's one of those shows you never know wwho's going to die as well. It's like Game of Thrones. It's that type of show where anyone can die.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I watch it as well, you watch that kind of program and you watch it and you just think, when you hear the music coming in and you think, fuck me, we must be close to the end of the episode.
Yeah,
because you're just lost in it. You're just lost in it.
Did you watch the little film they did as well with the Chiro character? Yes, cool.
Which it's just as well you did, because the way the season starts, Gianni doesn't know yet.
Right. Yeah.
So they've started season 5 from Gianni's point of view.
Yeah.
But the movie hasn't started yet either.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like
his character's amazing. The son, the big mafia guy. Like his arc, like, because he's kind of like just a bit inept in here.
He's season 1 is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like his arc in season 1 is the fat useless baby.
Yeah. it's like he's Fredo, isn't he? He's like Fredo Corleone.
Yeah.
It's like Michael.
Yeah,
he becomes Michael, didn't he? Brilliant.
Yeah, it's like his dad is like, what am I going to do with this fucking fat mess? Like, and a few seasons later, fat mess is like taking out the trash. I like
the female mafia boss, with the blonde hair, and then there's the other girl who's like takes over. They're all really
the girl that takes over. She is amazing because she's
that's another cool character out.
But so if somebody wrote down in a script, I want a hard-faced Italian woman for this role.
Yeah.
She's getting the role when she walks in casting.
Yeah,
doesn't need to open her mouth. Doesn't need to like,
just got that
you'll
look,
do for me. You'll do for me. Yeah. You look like you're in a fucking mood for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
You'll do for me.
Yeah.
Gomorrah's
fantastic. I mean, someone was like, right, I want like a great show to watch all over Christmas, and you had 10 days off, you'd watch a series every 2 days of that and do it all because it's that good. It's just addictive.
Yeah. And the weird thing is as well, is even when you know it well and you've been watching it a lot and something happens and you go, fucking hell. Yeah. Really?
It has got that element of surprise.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when a certain something is killed in an episode, you're just like, fucking hell, really?
Yeah.
Like, is that not crossing the line? Is that not a line that has been crossed there? That is fucking out of order. But then you start thinking about that incredible scene in Peaky Blinders between Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy.
Yes, yeah.
When Cillian Murphy's saying he's crossed the line.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy's going, what fucking line? What fucking line? Oh, your brother, was he? Oh, was he a relative? What about all the sons you've murdered? What about all the fathers you've murdered? And then and it's like, and at the end of it all, when he gets it all off his chest, you know, Cillian Murphy's going, you've got a good point there. It's just like insane. Yeah. But so anyway, let's get to some bits and pieces that that you want to talk about. I know you wanted to talk about. Well, I've talked about it. You haven't, but we haven't had a chance to discuss Bond.
Yes, Bond. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Pretty kind of shocked. Not totally shocked about the end because you can kind of maybe see it going that way. Obviously, spoiler alert, we won't do that. I enjoyed it. It's kind of 7 out of 10 for me, 7.5 out of 10. Preferred it a lot better than Spectre. I know you don't like Skyfall. I like Skyfall.
Bookends.
Yeah, it's like Daniel Craig's like he's gone like that. You know, it's weird. You know, it's a shame his Bond hasn't been more consistent, really, because he's brilliant. He's been great. Yeah. Because you know the Sean Connery Bonds are generally really solid, although they kind of peak with Goldfinger, but that. I don't think he didn't make a bad Bond, the classic ones. There's an argument that should James Bond do more than 3 films, they kind of stay on for 5, 6, Daniel Craig's number 5. I was kind of thinking about it the other day. Maybe you should just have James Bond, people just doing like 3 films or something. But it either tends to be, it doesn't work and they move on, or, they do, well, Brosnan did 4, didn't he? But no, I liked it. It was a great opening sequence, looked great. The characters were good. I thought the villain started off good, but he was a bit weak.
Well, actually, one thing about that as well is that at last, the one thing that I can credit No Time to Die with is introducing me to a completely new feeling, and that is being pleased to see Christoph Waltz in it. Because when he appears in the movie, he's rightly toned down and the edge of smart-ass has gone. Because he's essentially a broken man. And what a much better character that is when Christoph Waltz isn't giving it the full, how evil am I? I'll tell you how evil I am. I ain't got any fucking socks on.
He did the old Hannibal Lecter thing, kind of wheeling him out like. But to me, it's quite interesting in that scene. Actually, the You Only Live Twice, the book of You Only Live Twice. There's plot points from that I used in the film.
Right. Okay.
So the book of You Only Live Twice, Bond strangles Blofeld and says, "Die, die, Blofeld," and that. A spoiler alert. And then his garden of death. The villain's garden of death. That's from You Only Live Twice book as well. He's got his poison plants, which they could have explored more. Really, that was quite cool. But nice set design on that as well. And the rest of his island was a bit shit, but his garden was cool. Like that was proper, it's a good villain's lair. So it's kind of more of like a big scale Bond. It was more Bondish than I thought it would be in a way. It had like the big villain hideout, and
we had a big villain. We had a fucking island, mate. The only thing that was missing was a fake volcano. And
he should have had what he should have had is he should have had a hollowed out volcano with a poison garden in it.
Absolutely.
And then rocket launches.
Yes, and then rocket launches.
And then
But I agree. There are times in that film where the dialogue is particularly clunky, and I was quite surprised. Yeah. And for instance, where Felix is in the nightclub and James searches him out and says, right, what is it you want? And the dialogue in that scene is, I mean, there was splinters in my eyes after the first time seeing it. It's so wooden. So do you need some help saving the world again? Well, I just want to go home to the family, say I've saved the world again. Yes, from evil people. Yeah, from evil people. But you can't tell who the evil people these are these days, can you? No, you certainly can't. Let's drink to that. Let's drink to that. And it's just like, fuck's sake, this dialogue is 30 years old. But
it is.
But
it
in
is
that
weird.
scene, in that scene,
weird. I'm sorry.
In that scene, what struck me was A, how shit the dialogue was, but B, what a great job Daniel Craig was doing with absolutely every single fucking word. He was trying. You could see a guy acting his way out of the shittest dialogue in the film.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just little things. It's the look on his face. It's the fact that he's drinking a whiskey. He's not go down his usual route. He's drinking it like bitterly, like he doesn't really want to drink it, like he doesn't want to be here, like he's angry, and he doesn't, because he doesn't want to be talking to Felix, and he doesn't want to be like he's almost there against his will, and it's almost like he's taking place in the scene against his will. The way he acts it is just like, it's bitterness, it's anger, and I just really, really like the way it's done. You know, despite
his performance was one of his best as Bond, I think. You know, it's probably his best since Casino Royale, probably.
Best movie since Casino Royale. That's
for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Skyfall. But it's weird with Bond films because they've done so many. You think they know how to write, but it's almost like they've done so many Bond films. It's hard to kind of come up with new things. Yeah. But may still have it as a Bond film, you know. It's weird.
It is, isn't it?
It is strange thing, you know. But I'm happy. I'm happy with how the Daniel Craig era has ended. It's a good send off. Obviously, all the pandemic kind of postponed it, and where they go from here, I don't know. But this is the beauty of Bond. You recast it, and you know, you change tack. Yeah. You know, and it'll change tack again. And you know, I don't think they should have like an arc. I think just, you know, they should just go. You know, it needs to go its own way again. You know, well, the new Bond. Yeah.
Well, my disappointment with Daniel Craig's tenure as Bond is that it started with, for me, the greatest Bond movie of them all, which is his version of Casino Royale. For me, is untouchable.
Yeah, it's up there.
When he's coming out the water, the way he's coming out the water, and the way they're you know, that's your Ursula Andress shot. But instead it's Bond, and it's constantly updating. It's constantly giving you things and saying, here's a little bit of the old, but here's how we do it now. And it's beautifully done.
Yeah.
And they've done away with the gadgets and, like, you know, this does this and this does this and this does this. They've done away with all that. We see Bond getting beaten up. It's broken Bond. It's bleeding Bond. It's bruised Bond. It's battered Bond. Great, wonderful. And then the next movie, they went, fuck all that.
Yeah, well, they've just really lost the way.
Here's Ben Whishaw. Gadgets are back. Next movie, just fuck it. Like, just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. We'll have Frankie Howard as the villain. You know, tonally, all over the joint. Oh, I've just shot a woman. Oh, never mind. Let's just move away from that scene quite quickly.
I'd agree with you on that. I mean, I enjoyed Skyfall, but they did become more bringing in tribute bits and that, and because the problem is the Quantum of Solace was just so bad. That film's really bad. Yes. It's boring. You know, I did a thing. I tried watching that after Casino Royale because it was kind of recommended. Quantum of Solace is much better if you watch it after Casino Royale. It's not. It just makes it look worse.
It makes it look worse.
I mean, I was watching it. Was just like, this is actually boring. You know, I'm actually bored here. Yeah. And actually, Daniel's a bit crap, and everyone's crap in it. It's just
the logic I do not understand. You know that thing over there that's really shit? Yeah, go and stand a bit closer to it, and it's even shitter. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, don't watch it. I mean, well, I refuse to call it. I call it Question of Sport, because that's what it's always referred to on the Kermode and Mayo show.
Even if they hadn't had the writer's strike, I mean, I think that the struggle. I think they'd struggle now to do a good Bond film in the 2-year turnaround. He used to do them every 2 years, but it's got to be 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, and then obviously this one would have been that if it wasn't the pandemic. I mean, it's ended up being like six years, isn't it? You know, and that's like the amount of time there was between License to Kill and GoldenEye. But But, you know, I just laugh at all the clickbait about who's going to be the next Bond. They're still going, it's going to be Idris Elba, who's like 50, you know, and it's just, only the producers know, and it'll be someone people don't expect.
I'll tell you,
and it'll be all the better for that.
Mate, you could do a lot worse than Matthew Good. You really, it's maybe a little bit of a step backwards because he's a little bit more of the sort of like, English gentleman, as it were. But I think
he's 43.
Oh, he's got some years in him.
Yeah, so like by the time the film comes out, it'll be 47.
How old was Daniel Craig when he was first cast?
38 when he was 38 when the first film came. He was 37 when he was cast.
Right. So you're looking like mid to late 30s then.
You need to cast an actor not older than 40, I think, 41. But then again, it's that thing, you could say like, let's have Tom Hardy for like just do 2 films, But they'll probably go with someone who's not as well known. But yeah, Matthew Good's kind of like gentleman.
That's what I mean, gentleman Bond. But those times have gone, and maybe yeah. Well, look, how are you? Let's move on because we've got to both talk about Dune.
Yes.
So, what's your take on it?
Brilliant. I mean, I've never read the book. I've seen the David Lynch version, but I've spoken to people who read the book. I just thought, if you're going to make this film, then the guy's just done a brilliant job. Yeah. And, fortunately, it's paid off and you'll get a second part. And he said, I was watching an interview with him yesterday. Actually, if you go online, there's an interview with him and James Cameron. They're talking to each other. And he said he just felt he couldn't do justice to in one part. So the studio was like, well, let's make it in 2 parts, but let's do the first part and see how it goes. So big risk because it could be like, it's flop, right? We're not doing it. But just the thing I thought was great was just the scale of it. It was like the volume of everything, like the ships, the size, the world building, is you would say as well. It just had that gravitas. And I was watching an interview yesterday. It was James Cameron pointing out, he's making films and Cameron's of that ilk where he's doing epic sci-fi, but he's more like David Lean or something like that. It's not like action adventure Marvel. It's got that epic scope of older style filmmaking.
Yes,
and all about for it.
But that's what I love about Denis Villeneuve is just the fact that he's able to bring his style. But I've said it before, the fact that he's in no rush to do anything. It's like, look, do you know what? You don't go and see a 2.5 hour movie of Denis Villeneuve to get the feeling like somebody is telling you what to do for 2.5 hours. Yeah. It's like, look, I'm explaining this very badly. You spend 2.5 hours in the company of one of his films. You don't. Yes. That's what I'm trying to. And it's like, this film is over here and it's happening how it happens. And you come to it and make of it what you want. But he's not making any effort to make you to want to come and see it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can imagine Denis Villeneuve being like the Kurt Cobain of directors. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be a big director. I don't want my films to be successful because then people I don't like will like my films and I can't do that.
No, when I was watching him interview, he's a modest guy. But you need filmmakers you need people who are going to do this, because if they don't, we're not left with anyone like that.
You're absolutely right. I'm like Nolan, who, as far as I'm concerned, has basically disappeared totally up his own arse.
A little bit,
Certainly with Tenet, it's just like, no, mate. The minute you start mixing things down in the sound mix because you don't want the audience to quite be able to make out what they're saying, you can fuck off.
Yes.
That's like, I'm done with you. But
it was hard in Tenet to sort of hear stuff, wasn't it?
But that was done deliberately. He took parts of the dialogue down deliberately, so you cannot make it out. Fuck off. Just fuck off. Create anyway. But Nolan's important. Denis Villeneuve's important, and you know, I know it's been out for a while now, and I keep making the same point, but one of the most important movies of the last decade is The Wolf of Wall Street. It's an 18.
Yes,
It has more swearing in it than any movie previously. It is nearly 3 hours long, and it took 10 years to finance, and it stayed at the UK box office for 2 weeks as an 18 with a shitload of swearing in it.
Yeah.
And it did massive business all over the world.
It's a great film, and I haven't seen that film since it came out, and I want to watch it again. But that was like a film when I saw the pictures, like, oh, that's just fucking brilliant. That.
It's outstanding, but the thing, like I said, it's so fucking important for the movie industry. And I remember the interview that Simon Mayo did. Look it up on YouTube if you can, because at the end of the interview, Leonardo goes, "Great interview, by the way." And Simon Mayo goes, thank you very much. He said, well, with radio, we have to kind of like really push with the questions. And Leo was like, yeah, no, I get that. And it was really cool. It was really interesting. You're a very knowledgeable man, and I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you. And then you hear his aides go, right, like, we've got to go. But he was very heavily invested in music in it, because obviously him and Marty. Him and Marty have been trying to get it made for 10 years. Been trying to get it made for 10 years. But it's just a superb fucking movie. But in that interview, he goes on to say that, like, you know, because Mayo says it's an important movie, and he goes, yeah. And they go off on a tangent a little bit, and DiCaprio brings up Blood Diamond as the kind of movie that just would not get made now.
Yeah, that's a good film, good performance. I've not seen it in ages, but
great movie.
I mean, those interviews that they do for press junkets are so boring. You know, they must get asked inane questions, so you can imagine, like, DiCaprio, because obviously Mayo is really knowledgeable. No, I mean, it's weirdly enough, we went to see Spielberg's West Side Story the other day, and I'm not into musicals. They had great reviews. And people said, oh, you know, it looks fantastic and the direction's great. And I thought, yeah, let's go and see it. I want to see this. And I was glad I did. I didn't love it. But you're just not going to get, you know, he's not going to be allowed to do that. He's Steven Spielberg, but they're not going to give people $100 million to remake West Side Story. And the camera work, the costume design, the cinematography is just first rate. It's just, from the opening shot, you're in the hands of a master filmmaker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not into the songs, and I don't know why he wanted to remake West Side Story, but if you're going to remake West Side Story, well, he's done a brilliant job as far as I'm aware. But you're just not going to see this kind of filmmaking from these guys, I don't think. It's like when we saw The Irishman, you know, I went to the pictures to see it. I didn't wait for Netflix. I thought, you're not going to see this again. So go to the pictures, you know.
Yeah. And then you came out of the pictures and you went, yeah, I'm not going to see that again.
Yeah. I'll probably watch it. When I've got 3 hours and 20, I've just done some.
That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Have you watched it since you saw it at the cinema?
No, you know, to be honest with you, Howard, it takes me a while to get around. I used to watch films again quite regularly, but now I'm finding like it's taking me ages to come back to films. I've just done something awesome, like a bit before. I just slyly emailed my other half saying I'm running late, so we've got more time. There you go.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I am. I takes a while to get around to watching films again, but I like The Irishman. Yeah, it's too long, but you know.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
So, anything else that you recommend for our lovely listeners over Christmas?
I was thinking a good Christmas film that I enjoyed on Netflix is The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell as Santa.
Wow, that's so different. That's so different to the one that I'm.
If you want like a proper Christmas film that's like fun, and then if you enjoy that, Christmas Chronicles 2. They're good fun film, Christmassy and kind of family. You know, when you can watch if you've got kids and stuff like that. Well, a good thing on Netflix I really enjoyed is Midnight Mass, which is like
is that good?
Horror.
Is that
I
good?
think it's really good. Right, it's really good. If you like Stephen King, and if you like something that kind of explores horror mythology in a different way. That's probably a way of sort of saying it without giving it away.
Right.
That's good. Obviously, we were talking about it before, like Succession's a great series, and there's 3 of Succession.
Yeah.
So that would give people time to you could watch that over Christmas and you'd do it all.
Yeah.
Something like Gomorrah could be a bigger challenge, but that's really good. New Dexter's good.
Shit. Yeah. Well, like and
that's got a winter setting as well. It's got a Christmas setting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a nice winter. Well, my alternate Christmas movie. So if you've got kids, they need to be quite old to watch this. Is Fat Man.
Right, that's the Mel Gibson, isn't it? That I saw the trailer for that, and then obviously it's never come up because it must be on Amazon or.
I'm not sure where it is, mate, but
yeah,
I loved it.
I forgot about that. I bet that's Mel Gibson.
Yes, that's Mel Gibson, right? And I'm not giving anything away here. Mel Gibson as Santa Claus, right?
Yes.
And it's great. It's a really, really cool movie. It's funny, it's violent, it's different. And the other actually no, I was going to say another Christmas movie to recommend, but it's not a Christmas movie. But anyway, I would definitely go Fat Man if you can track it down anywhere on the net. It's worth it.
I'm just remembering a while ago, because I really liked Bad Santa, but then we watched Bad Santa 2, and it's just everything that was good about Bad Santa, they just got wrong,
Serves you right.
Yeah, it serves me right. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What else? Like I said, I watched Binge Dexter recently. That took ages, but obviously, that would be too long for Crimbo.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of another little Christmassy thing that was on a few years ago, and it was very Christmassy, but it was nice. It was Click and Collect, and that's probably on the iPad with Stephen Merchant.
I think that's just come to Netflix as well. And it's a 1 hour special.
It is, yeah, and it's basically a comedy. It's basically like Jingle All the Way meets Plane, Trains and Automobile.
I think I saw it when it came out. Does he go on a road? He go on a road trip?
He goes on a road trip with his neighbour, and they have to try and get his toy. And it was sweet, and it was good. It was a good good Christmas thing and funny. I think Merchant's really good.
Do you know what? I remember that, and I remember watching it, and I remember thinking, "This is great. It's Christmas time." Do you know what's missing? What's missing is that it wasn't made by Aardman. Because I think if you basically stop that being a live action, and if Merchant takes his script to Aardman and goes
right, yeah,
I think, and they'd be all over that shit. And I think, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it could potentially be even better. But,
I think that the other guy is in Out of People Just Do Nothing. I'm not sure, but it's good. I mean, there's no films coming out of the pictures, I think, over Christmas, and a lot of the stuff I like to see is just coming and going. I was interested in seeing House of Gucci, but it's just gone already because.
Yeah, I know. I've just heard a little bit too much about Matey Boy's Italian accent in that.
Oh, yeah, Jared Leto.
I have to
watch him in that bloody advert,
But Oscar-winning actor is like, how can you come stumbling into scenes, shouting in a bad Italian accent, like and literally like just ruin every scene that you're in. Now, interesting enough, I know you're a Sopranos lover.
Yes.
So have you watched
Many States in New York? I haven't. No.
Right.
I will dig it out when it comes into me.
Right.
A lot of people said you don't need to see it in the pictures.
The thing about The Sopranos that I love. And I say love because you can watch an episode anytime you like. And the thing I love about The Sopranos is that every episode is like a movie. It's the first time that where I felt like I'm watching fucking movies in hour long sections. This is it don't get no gooder than this, right? And then I watched the movie and thought, why does this look like a TV program?
Yeah, that's
it's like,
good.
And it's like, it's also, I think, but I also think that the issue there is most of The Sopranos is filmed on film, and the movie is clearly shot digitally.
Right, yeah, and it might have some like sort of, because it's set in the 60s, they'll do some desaturation and post-production. Yeah,
and all it looks like is it looks like it's been digitally saturated, digitally manipulated to be put into that into that world. Basically, what I'm saying is, I gave it 20 minutes and I just was like, I've seen The Sopranos.
Not a story needed. Yeah.
20 minutes.
Prequels are weird, mate.
20 minutes in, and I'm thinking, do I need this? Do I need to piss on the legacy of The Sopranos right now?
Yeah.
Who asked for this movie? No one. And who's it going to appeal to? Fucking no one.
Yeah, I mean, the flip side of that is I enjoyed the Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad El Camino thing. It was all right. I quite enjoyed it,
Yeah, couldn't get on with it.
But it's the same thing, But what was it? So, there's an interesting thing on Netflix called Voir, and it's just little short documentaries, and then one about the difference between TV and film and how they've merged. And it has a great shot from The Sopranos where Tony's on the golf course with the plane flying overhead. And it's like pure cinematic images, like Succession. You get a lot of that in Succession, where like, I was watching one the other night and he sat in his pool on a lilo, and it's shot from below, and it's like you didn't used to get that in TV.
Yes.
And then it's starting to change, and this is the thing. This is why Gomorrah is pure Michael Mann type images. You can see the influence, and it's cross-pollinating more, and then you're getting film actors in TV, and then you're getting the type of aesthetic, and then you go to the films and you're like, well, hold on, I prefer my TV shows.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I like Dope Sick, seeing Michael Keaton playing this role. It's like, fuck me, this is television. This is like Michael Keaton, and he's throwing everything into this, and it is it's great. I must say, great TV series, but I've also got to say, depressing as fuck. It's like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And there's there ain't no comedy.
No justice. 10 hours and no just. That's a good limited series. We actually watched with my wife on Netflix, and people might not like it. It's called Made.
Oh, I want to do that. I want to. That's on my list.
It's Andy McDowell's daughter, and
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell's daughter is actually playing the main role. Andy McDowell's in it, and it's really good. It's just she's like a young girl. She's got a baby with a partner. He's abusive. She leaves, and it's just her trying to get a life going. Trying to keep a job, keep a roof above her head. And she's really good. Andy McDowell's good in it.
Isn't it written by Andy McDowell's daughter?
It might be. I'm not sure. I've seen her in something else.
I think there's some. It's something to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
So
basically, the best thing that Andy McDowell has been in for a while.
Yeah, Heather. Yeah,
it's written by your daughter.
Another show I'm watching that, like, it's all right. I'm kind of disappointed. Is American Crime Story Impeachment. But if you've seen haven't seen the other American crime stories, the O.J. Simpson one, I mean, these are on Netflix. It's going back a long time. The O.J. Simpson one and the Versace one are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And they're still, if you've not seen those, if anyone hasn't, then they're well worth watching. Again, they're 10 parts and you'll get sucked in. But the impeachment one, the new one, is just not quite as interesting.
Right.
This kind of, it's like, it's a kind of, it's a crime, but it's not a crime. No crime's happened, apart from like, blokes behaving like dicks, Well, there is really in a way, but but I've just been watching that every week on so terrestrial TV. But
that's cool. I'll keep an eye out for that. By the way, Maid is not written by her daughter. My apologies.
Right. Forget the name of the young actress, and I've seen her in something else. Yeah, it was interesting when I was listening to you recently. Like, I didn't think when I started watching Dexter, you mentioned You does owe something to Dexter, which is another show we both like, with a voiceover. Again, that's a great show. If people, that's a really addictive show, free series. You'd absolutely hammer that over Christmas. It's completely addictive.
It is, and it owes a huge debt to Dexter.
Yeah.
The whole internal monologue, but that's how you use an internal monologue.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, it's informative, it's like those things in Dexter where it's like, oh, I wonder what he, I wonder where he is now, and you get Dexter's monologue in his head going like,
he's in my fridge,
he's in my fridge, or he's at the bottom of the bay where he belongs, I
mean, you use one of those shows, you could start watching it, and then you probably watch the whole series in 2 days,
absolutely.
Well, one series, and then, but I think, You's a really good show.
Very good show indeed. Yeah, very good show.
Yeah, there's not many Christmassy things, but anyway.
no, there isn't. But look, we're running out of time. I know you've got things to do. So look, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and it's honestly, a long old fucking time, mate.
No, mate. Honestly, it's always a pleasure. And I love doing things like this. It's like something I really enjoy.
Same here. That's why I do it.
Yeah. So let's time. Just
let's catch up. Let's catch up again. Absolutely, no doubt, mate.
Awesome. Great. See ya.
Yeah. Take care, dude. Yeah. Merry Christmas.